Friday. Gotta get down Friday. Yay! Remember Rebecca Black, everybody?
That's it. It's Friday, and today is a big day because the first week of the month, we go over the housing stats, and it's
yes, indeed.
And you know, for the last few Fridays, I think it's really been kind of really rainy. And we're just like kind of
on the cusp of that right now.
Yeah, it's getting very close. So it's really
we're going to try to push.
Yeah, we're going to try to. So we're going to give you a little trigger warning and say that if we do go off early, the rain is the reason.
A trigger warning. He's really into like social justice terms
well,
today.
I just want to put it out there just in case we kind of leave early. So, but it's an interesting month, and you have some numbers to kind of go over, and
yes, I do.
Yeah, it's. For a lot of people, it's a lot of changes in the market. If you're a home seller, you probably noticed it, and they probably noticed it more so than other people because expired listings. And I gave a brief synopsis, and we'll get into a little bit more of that. Have been on the steady increase. So that means the market's kind of.
Now that data is not so easy to get. So was that kind of an independent study where you found
Yes, that's from our local multiple listing service here in Staten Island, Cyber. Yeah, expired listings going up as much as they have in the last few months is a sign that things may be seeing the shift. But we're going to get a little bit more into those detailed numbers.
Yes,
Hannah's going to get you the numbers on active listings, so you could highlight some of them. So go ahead.
Yes, so the first thing we're going to dive into is the number of active listings on the market in Staten Island, which is now at 1,991. Again, the highest that it's been in over 2 years. And that's important because we got a fan. Hey.
There he is.
Was that Nick?
That's Nick.
Okay, he's coming. So now it's a trend because it's 3 months in a row of the highest active listings in over 2 years. Our data goes back 2 years.
A whole 2.
Yes, more than 2.
Yeah, for some reason
all we have is 2 years.
We can only go back on 2 years, but the stats coming in that we're giving you is 2 years.
So now a trend of 3 months in a row of really, really high active listings that are just sitting on the market. What's your take on this? Why is this important?
Well, and the first drops are actually starting to fall.
He didn't believe it.
It's a shower.
Yeah.
We'll last through a couple of drops, but the biggest thing about it is nationally numbers. The housing market has seemed to possibly have a hiatus. Some people are calling like Market Watch today reported that Redfin had a 10%
drop in their stock. Yes,
based on the fact that they believe housing sales are going to be weaker
in the next 2 months. The CEO predicted that housing activity is going to be weak over August and September.
But it brings up
his shareholders didn't like that very much.
Yeah, and I think maybe for that particular outfit, maybe that's the case. But we do definitely see there's some things that we've been talking about over the course of the last few months that have actually shown some types of hesitation in the market. We kind of went over them. Well, it hasn't really played out in the numbers per se. Like I said, a good sense of the street feel says that this may be the case here. So let's why the listings up to 1991?
Yes.
For the first time in a while, basically, home buyers are getting a little bit more selective and have a little bit more selection in their in what they might consider buying, where it was like kind of a multiple bid situation, highest bid wins. That's not quite the case that we're seeing now. So, and that's reflective. That's the reflective of the fact that the amount of homes coming on the market versus home sales in the month have been consistently on the increase. So basically, there's a little bit over a 5-month supply in the market, which still is indicative of a seller's market, by the way, based on, what you say like is a 6-month. But to go back about 3 months prior, you're talking about 3 months of inventory being on the market. It's the first time consecutively in a span of a quarter that we've had five basic increases in housing inventory. So at over 5, we're definitely seeing some slowdown, to say the least. I think this quarter kind of reflects a trend. So we're definitely seeing things kind of not being as robust as they were a year ago at this time.
Right. Still fairly robust. I mean, what we're seeing, and if you don't mind, I'm going to kind of slide into the next point. I don't know when it's, it looks like it might be clearing up a little bit, but prices are not going down yet. They're almost exactly the same as they were last month, but that is a trailing indicator.
Yeah, housing prices are trailing indicators.
Because homes typically take 90 days to close. That's usually the most common closing cycle. So essentially, it seems like they're still pretty robust in sellers' favor. It's just not quite as robust as it was. Would you agree?
Well, when you want to look at that, you want to look at the fact that list to sale ratios are now at 97%.
Right.
So there's been a little bit of a discount here.
Which the previous month was 97.3. So again, close to the same.
Yeah, but at one time, going back a few months, it was at 98.
98.5.
Yeah,
I think.
so that goes back into like March. So what you're going to look at is that the housing that are selling, and that's kind of a trailing indicator again, when you look at housing stats, is this the X to sell ratio. So what the house is asking for, and the difference in what they actually get at closing is how we establish this number. So what you want to look at is a trend developing that's kind of increasing a bit. Now that hasn't been, we don't have really an established trend, although we kind of look at the last quarter and say it's definitely not where it was the same time last year at this time. So the X to sell ratios are down a little bit, maybe about between 1.5 points and 0.5 point, somewhere in there. It kind of bounces back and forth. So what we're looking at is we're looking at some type of negotiation room in the pricing for some of these home sales. They're willing to negotiate a little bit more on the price. That's indicative of the fact that prices and inventory has increased, and competition to get that buyer to come in and buy requires a bit of negotiation there. So it's something to pay attention to. The other issue, and I think you had mentioned in the second point, is average sale price is stuck at 586. Mm-hmm. So it's it's still at a record high.
The previous cycle actually had increased 13,000 over from May to June.
Yes. Now this is where a lot of the sellers get confused with like pricing structuring, because if you look at the average new listing prices, still considering what the conditions are based on what we're analyzing, houses that are coming on the market, the average list price has been still on the increase. Mm-hmm. So, and that's a good sign of like where sellers' mindsets are, is that there's some type of fundamental belief that, and I'm looking up because it's dropping and dripping
Trying to
a little bit.
I'm okay.
You saw all of a sudden you see us drenched and running, you'll know what that means. But you're basically seeing people put their houses on the market with the idea that the same parameters are in play a year ago that they are now. So the average, the average list price of houses going on is around 680 when I checked the stats last, and that's at an all-time high. So it's not really resonating the fact that we're looking at average sale price and they feel a sense of exuberance about what the market is future is, and the current numbers may be showing that that's really not the case. So it's something that we need to pay attention to as home sellers, is are we keeping our pricing structures within the reasons of where the market may be heading, and for sellers need to understand is that we don't see, based on the stats, that if we're at any point in the real estate market, we're at least at stagnant.
Yeah.
So meaning that there's nothing really changing price-wise to indicate that there's further increases on the rise. So the corresponding new listing consistently coming on the market is still consistently higher than the previous months is saying that that message may not be resonating.
Actually,
So-
that's an interesting point to bring up. I want to shuffle through and look at our exactly the number of new listings, because they actually were a little bit less. Okay, yes. So,
Yeah, the new average list price is $679. It was $671 the previous month, $653, $668, $664. This is progressively increased,
Right.
which is reflective of the exuberance of the marketplace, assuming that things are heading upward still, and maybe that's not the case.
Right.
And they're becoming a little disillusioned or disappointed that maybe something's wrong here about why my house isn't selling, when actually in the current,
they just priced way too high.
yeah, well, they're pricing themselves out, reflective of the market conditions, that even if we're at a even keel at this point, or we've seen the weakening coming. Yeah, someone's getting a ticket outside, so you'll see us periodically turn around.
This is Salem Boulevard. But I wanted to come back to when you said that things are stagnant, and I do agree with that. And the interesting point I kind of want to tie to that is that new listings were actually way down in July versus June. We've been having April 2018 713 new listings, May 736, June 723. Now July was only 608, so that's actually far lower than the past few months. So that's why I don't necessarily see prices coming down. I think they're going to be more kind of flattening, because the supply side is actually, I think in the next few months, going to start to go down.
And again, we touched on this in the last couple of segments that we did regarding the housing market stats, and that the market is definitely moving, and at different price ranges the market is moving at different rates. So as you consistently go above that average sale price, the houses in that market are moving at a different level. So if your house is being listed at over 586, the market consistently gets slower as you move up away from that number.
Especially over.
And if you're below that number, it's still rapidly increasing.
Right.
So when sellers kind of look at average sale prices, it's so important to really understand this. When sellers are looking at average sale price, they look at it as a consistent growth of the marketplace, meaning that at 900, it's, because there's a 5% increase at the lower levels, and it's raining a little bit harder, we're sticking it out.
I know. I'm concerned about this cord right
You may
here.
have to get we'll be fine. This cord, it's like,
No, that.
oh, we'll be fine. We'll be fine as long as, so if you see a couple of spots of the thing, we're
If you
kind
see
of,
some sparks, just don't be concerned.
why does this always happen? It's got to happen. Something always has
Every
to happen.
Friday, and I don't know, this is so poetic. Is this like indicative of the market right
I mean,
now?
I guess we don't, yeah.
The storm is coming,
But
guys.
to get back to the basics and hasten this up a bit, sellers need to understand that that when they're pricing their house, the conditions of the marketplace, even though average sale price of a house is going up, it may not be reflective in their particular price segment. So it's important to understand, especially if you're going to price and a realtor sitting in front of you and they're not citing specific stats, you're going to want to know the specific stats as to what's happening next. It keeps getting a little bit harder, and we're going to have to go off air soon if this keeps up.
It's looking that way.
Yeah, we're just kind of getting hit with a shower. So anyway, it's getting worse.
It's getting worse.
But we're going to keep going. I'm going to stick it out for a little bit more.
I can stick it out. I just worried about the equipment.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
A little damp.
You'll just see a couple of streaks. And Hannah's shirt slowly turning from light blue to dark blue. I'm wearing black. So anyway, for the home sellers, really, they need to be conscious of this one factor, that just because, let's not indicate where prices are going based on the fact that the average sale price is right now it's flatlined, and that each part of the housing market is still affected in the same way. So it's important to really understand that as being part of going on the market at this point in time.
Now, can I ask, do you think anything is like particularly weird about these statistics? Because I was talking to one of our agents yesterday, one of our top producing agents who has a lot of listings, and she said she's shocked to see how high prices are now. And she definitely, based on how slow the market has been for her and how activity's down on her listings, she thought prices would be going down.
Yeah, and again, that's where you know, at the ground level, the sense is that you know, you have to be proactive in this process about where things stand in the marketplace. And if you're not, you're going to be subject to a lot of things that the marketplace is going to present based on the facts negatively. If you're seeing slowdowns in the amount of showings that you're getting, and especially in this market, you have to be active in the process from the very beginning. I've said this before, most agents will know at the onset. You know, you go into a 1 week, 2 week period, and you know you're not getting showings, or you're not garnering enough showings. There is something fundamentally wrong with the pricing structure of the house. Marketing is also part of it. Let's not dismiss the fact that how well it's marketed. Actually, how well a house is marketed today is probably more important than it was 3 months ago, because of the fact that you really do need to draw more attention.
Things are pulling back. Yeah, you need your house to stand out.
Yeah, so that's still an important piece. So we're kind of in between lulls now. It's not raining quite as hard as it was 2 seconds ago.
Slowed a bit.
So there's Nick. Nick making a comment. Hey, Nick.
Hey.
Irene is on the pipe. My wife is on the line. Mike. All is hello. Pay attention to the stats. It's important. But anyway, so what you want to look at is you want to look at that activity way at the beginning, and let's see if
first 2 weeks are crucial, right?
Yeah, I think that first 2 week period is, if you're not making an adjustment quickly, you're going to be falling behind the market shortly after that. And
but it also looks bad if you adjust the price multiple times, does it not?
Yeah, that's why it's important is we call it trailing the market, and we have basically seconds left here, folks.
I think we pretty much touched on everything.
And it's like this, like it just wants to pour, and it's like kind of like these big drops now.
It's like indecisive, but it's getting more decisive now.
What we're going to do is we have a report on this for you, Hannah.
On realestateSINY.net.
Yes, or sidex.com, and you can actually track if you haven't tracked your. Now it's like slowing down again. It's like this. We keep like these like little lulls and showers.
So it's kind of a wall of gray up there right now.
You'll sit out here as long as I say. I'm only kidding. But
I'll stay cool this way.
You see how everything's just slowly drenching. My paper's starting to actually get wet.
Yeah, no, your paper's soaked. Show them the paper.
So look, folks.
No, the other side.
Yep. Can they see it there? Yeah, it's like
if you can't see the rain, now you can.
But, and to kind of highlight this, and it's just kind of my luck lately. It would rain just as I'm about to do this all day.
Like I said, it's so poetic.
So highlight the numbers for them.
Yeah. So in conclusion, you have the numbers. Actually.
We don't have any time.
You have the numbers.
Folks, it's pouring now.
What's on the bottom? Here we go.
There you go. Hurry up.
Yes. So
before we get electrocuted.
July days on the market are up at 77. List to sell ratio is down at 97%. Average price is almost the same at $586,000. And mortgage rates are up slightly at 4.6%. Housing activity nationally is down a little bit.
Yes, and you'll catch some of those reports on things like CNBC and those other stations. But we're gonna. We'll probably. It's like it like slows down and like starts. It's like sometimes I feel like it's going, but
the microphone's gonna electrocute me.
I'm putting us at risk, and we'll probably get a couple of lightning bolts in the process. But
oh no!
Anyway, to kind of give you the stats is that things have kind of slowed down, and housing prices are the same from last month.
Yep.
The inventory numbers that are at a consistent. The last quarter has been high. Oh, it's stopping.
Don't say that. Now it's going to start again.
And basically, housing prices that are still of houses going on the market now are still increasing. So we're kind of out of touch with some of the realities that the market are presenting, and it's something that obviously when
sellers are out of touch.
Yeah, well, not just the sellers. I think they're being advised incorrectly. But
Fair enough.
anyway, with that,
Or
I
they're not
hope
taking their
you
advice.
enjoy every wet Friday as much as we do when we're standing out in the rain.
Yeah, it's a consistent thing now.
Yeah.
I look forward to it every Friday.
So
the rain.
we'll have this report for you on SI-DEX.
Yes, it's already up, and we're going to have the physical copy
SI-DEX.com.
soon for any of you who like to read the physical copy. And I guess that's about it.
Yeah, and that's about it. We're signing off from our next
Here's
version
our
of the
soggy sign off.
Yeah,
guys.
soggy sign off, and the next I don't know, deluge is about to hit Staten Island with another 5.5 inches of rain.
Oh no!
Who knows? But it's
knows?
like this cloud is just over us. It's sunny a little over there. It's sunny a little over here. But anyway, thank you very much for tuning in. Stay in touch with what we do here.
Yes.
The beginning of the month, we try to get to you every Friday. Obviously, if
When it
you
rains,
follow our
it pours.
page, you'll see the previews to what we'll be talking about next. And you
At least
have
the lighting is nice, right?
yeah, it's
not
cloudy.
too bright.
It's not too bright.
Yeah.
I could deal with
There's
it.
that.
Want to stay out in the rain a little bit longer?
Sure.
Okay, before the iPad actually goes kaput, have a great weekend.
Great Friday, great
Friday.
weekend, and I will see you
Stay
soon. hopefully.
dry. Rain or shine, Team Real Estate. Yes, that's right. Yevgeny.
Yes.
It says, we are here for you, and we're steadying out in the rain just for you.
Just for you. Thanks for watching, guys.
Ciao.
Ciao.